Remember your rock climbing buddy from college who drove the Subaru Outback? Yeah, well, he just secured a successful Series B funding round at his startup. Everyone there now wears Arc'teryx gear, and he bought one of these for himself. Before we start today's video, my name is Andrew Lambrecht. I'm a project engineer here at Ever, and I'm also a contributor at Inside EVs and Business Insider covering electric cars. In today's video, we're going to explore the Rivian R1T from all angles: exterior, interior space, driving impressions, and the charging experience. So let's dive in. The Rivian R1T debuted as a 2022 model year, and this was Rivian's inception into the market with the Rivian R1T pickup truck. The R1S SUV followed very soon. And the Rivian R1T started out as a quad motor pickup truck. So we get 4 electric motors that make over 830 horsepower. It's got a lot of power, and the range was also around 314 miles thanks to the large battery pack. Then in 2024, we get the Rivian R1T Standard. So this one, at least on the surface, sounds like it has a different battery pack. And one thing that is definitive is we do get dual motors instead of quad motors. So this dual motor setup makes 533 horsepower and 610 pound-feet of torque. So it's less than 800, but 533 is still pretty significant. It's even good for a 0 to 60 time of just 4.5 seconds. This R1T Standard has a 106 kilowatt hour usable battery pack, but there's one slight caveat. This actually uses the large battery in the more expensive Rivians and instead just software caps it at 106 kilowatt hours. That means even if you're at a full charge, you're only accessing about 75% of the battery pack. We'll get to that later. But effectively, we're just driving a software limited large Rivian R1T. Now, Rivian made some significant changes for the 2025 model year Rivian R1T and R1S because we use Rivian's new Gen 2 platform with zonal architecture and a lot of other really cool advancements. But those versions also have a standard range variant, and they come with a 92.5 kilowatt hour LFP battery pack. Now, both batteries are good for a range of around 279 miles if you have the right wheels equipped, but the TLDR is if you get a 2024, you have a software limited large battery pack that's NMC, nickel, manganese, cobalt, and then if you get a 2025, you have an LFP, lithium iron phosphate, 92.5 kilowatt hour battery pack. We're going to launch a whole video very soon on the differences between these two battery chemistries, but effectively with LFP batteries, you will need to charge them to 100%, usually every week at least once, just to properly calibrate the battery algorithm so they know what state of charge the car's at. But if you drive an NMC car like this, you can charge it like normal. Still, in any battery pack, it's bad to leave it at 100% or 0% for a very long time, but once again, we'll discuss that in a separate battery video. Now, starting off with the Rivian R1T Standard, let's see what the exterior is like. As for the overall dimensions of the Rivian R1T, this truck is 217 inches long and the bed is 4.5 feet. So the bed is definitely on the shorter side. It's about the same length as a Maverick's bed. It's definitely not as long as a full-size pickup truck like the Ford F-150 Lightning. That one's 5.5 feet, so the bed is a little bit shorter. As for the rest of the truck, the dimensions are more Toyota Tacoma sized as opposed to F-150 size. So a Toyota Tacoma with the double cab and the 5-foot bed is about 213 inches long, as opposed to an F-150 Lightning, which is 233 inches long. So this is definitely on the smaller side. So in terms of overall dimensions, if we have the Tacoma here and the F-150 Lightning here, the Rivian R1T is sitting a little more on the side of the Toyota Tacoma. Coming around front, we get these really nice lines on this pickup truck. It's a lot less aggressive than like our regular Chevy Silverado. These lines are very friendly, it's more inviting, and we really see that around front with these circular headlights. We also get this really cool light bar around front, And when you're charging, it can actually illuminate and pulse in this nice green color to let you know that the car is accepting electrons. You can definitely tell that this truck is rugged because we get this plastic around the wheels, and this truck has a maximum approach angle of 35.5 degrees. That's really solid. What's also really solid is this truck's maximum ground clearance. Thanks to standard air suspension, this is not an option, every Rivian R1T comes with it, we get up to 14.9 inches of ground clearance. And when we have it in that highest mode, you can drive through 36 inches of water. Yes, that's 3 feet of water you can drive through in your Rivian R1T pickup. Given that this is a pickup truck, we do have a bed. And to open that, there's a small button right here. You press twice, and then the bed will open up. Sadly, this is not a very fun bed. So if you get a Ford F-150 Lightning, there's this really cool stair that pulls out so you can get in easier. And the Silverado EV has another little stepping mechanism in there so you can get in and out really easily. But this is just a normal bed. And unlike the Ford F-150 Lightning, this tailgate does not close on its own. In fact, to close this, you need to get up behind it, lift it up, and slam it shut. And then crack yourself open a cold Busch Light. Now, the Rivian R1T also has another pretty cool feature, and that is the power tonneau cover right here. So to open it, you press and hold, and it will fold in automatically. So this is pretty cool. So you can cover all your goods, and it is waterproof too. So I was washing this Rivian R1T a day ago, and after I was done washing it, I was surprised that this bed was totally dry. What's also pretty nice are the amenities in this bed. So first off, we got a couple of hooks back there if we need to tie something down, perhaps a deer. And then we also get 2 power outlets right there. These are just 120 volt, typical power outlet style. And then we also get this, which is an air compressor. So if you got a 2024 Rivian R1T, the air compressor is standard. But if you go ahead and get a 2025 model year, you will need to pay extra. I believe it's $600 to get that air compressor. We also get some LED lights in this bed too, right there and right there. And the other really cool thing about this bed is the secret space underneath. To access this secret area, we just pull up on this little lever right here, and we can lift this up, and we can actually put a full-size spare tire in here, or we can use this entire space for additional storage. And we even have a gasket around here, so whatever you keep in there will be dry. But the Rivian R1T's storage and practicality does not stop in the bed. In fact, as you come along to the side of the pickup truck, we have what appears to be an opening. And if we press this small button up here 2 times, the gear tunnel can open up. So since we have an EV pickup truck, it's not based on an existing platform, and there's no transmission going to the rear wheels. We have all this open space in here, and Rivian decided to open it up, and they gave us this gear tunnel. And this small door is strong enough for you to sit on it, and you can even stand on this to access the bed, which is really sweet. So if you're washing the car, you can easily get up and clean the roof. And this gear tunnel can hold 11.7 cubic feet of stuff. That's amazing. You can throw skis in here or any other long items. And we also have a 120 volt power outlet right here. So if you keep something in here that needs to get charged, it can get charged up as you're driving on your journey. This is really sick. And as a final note on the gear tunnel, there are 3 doors. So there's one on the left side, one on the right side, and then a 3rd secret door. But we'll get back to that in a second. Coming around front, we have yet again more storage located underneath the front trunk. So there's actually a few ways to open this. You can open the frunk through the infotainment screen. You can actually do it through the key. So you press 2 times on the frunk button and it will open up. And there's even a special button right here on the front, and the front trunk can open right up. This front trunk has a total volume of 11.7 cubic feet. So when we consider the gear tunnel with 11.1 cubic feet, there is a total of 22.8 cubic feet in the front trunk and gear tunnel alone. That is more storage space than the entire trunk of a Toyota Camry you get from the frunk and the gear tunnel. These are 2 things you would never get in an internal combustion engine pickup truck. So the Rivian R1T really proves the practicality of opting for an EV truck. You get way more storage space, and it's substantially more practical for carrying goods. When you want to close the front trunk, all you do is press under here, and the front trunk will close shut. When you get into the back seats of the Rivian R1T, you'll be pretty impressed. First off, the materials are really, really good. So we have this very nice seating material with perforated inserts on the outboard seats, and the outboard seats are also heated. So we have 2 heated rear seats and plenty of power outlets. So we have 4 USB-C ports. We get one there, another there, and then 2 more right here in the center console area. We get a 120 volt power outlet located right under here. And we get this really nice center screen right here where we can turn on the air conditioning, change the music, look at the compass, adjust your own Bluetooth settings, lock the doors, and many more features. We also get 2 AC vents right here and this center armrest that holds a secret. So we pull right here and we get 2 cup holders and a small storage area for your cell phones, wallet, and other goods. But located to the back of here is a secret passage, and you can open this up and you can actually access the gear tunnel through the back seats of the cars. And I feel like Rivian has just thought of everything when they designed, engineered, and eventually built this electric pickup truck. And the materials are also really nice too. We get these child width floor mats that just have a really unique look and feel to them. And all the materials on this door are quite impressive. So we have soft touch up here, wood up there, more soft touch, and even this lower portion of the door panel is all soft touch materials. Even some premium cars I really like the Audi e-tron, have plastic on this lower portion of the door panel. But all on this door isn't great, and that is this door handle right here. So this door handle is fine to open up the door, great. But this right here just feels a little cheap plasticky, which is a little unfortunate because everything else on this door is so nice. Yet we have this one area that you touch so much and it just doesn't really feel that great. Up front, the interior experience gets even better. So once again, we get a bunch of really nice materials. Even this dashboard has this really nice leather material that extends all the way back. So many cars have plastic dashboards, but not the Rivian. All the materials are super nice in here. I really can't overstate how good the material selection is inside this cabin. We also get more wood around the dashboard and these really cool bronze accents. Overall, it looks and feels really nice. These seats are also power operated and they're heated and ventilated. So you get all of that as standard. So you don't need to pay any extra like in the Ford F-150 Lightning or Chevy Silverado to get ventilated and heated seats. You get all of this as standard. And up front, we also get 2 USB-C ports, 2 wireless phone chargers, cup holders that pop out with the press of a button. And there's one really awesome feature, which is the built-in Bluetooth speaker. So if you're out and about with your friends outside, you can simply go to your pickup truck and then pull out the Bluetooth speaker built into your center console to listen to music. As standard, the steering wheel is heated, and the Rivian R1T gets a 600 watt 12 speaker sound system as standard. Now, I do like listening to music, and I have tested out pretty much every single audio system on the market, and I have to say, this is okay-ish. Is it better than Ford's B&O system? I think so, but that's not really saying a lot. This system is fine for the casual listeners, but if you listen to anything that's really bass heavy, the system just really can't handle it, especially through Bluetooth. Now, what's really sad is the original 2022 Rivians came with Meridian's Elevation sound system, and that was really, really good. But then eventually Rivian said that they won't be using Meridian anymore. They'll make their own sound system. And then Rivian said this new sound system would be a little bit more sustainable because it had less rare earth minerals in the magnets. And whenever they say that, that's never a good sign. I think that's more of a sign of them cheaping out for less powerful speakers, and that makes me really sad. So this new sound system just really is not that great, at least on the base version. Nevertheless, my favorite aspect of the Rivian R1T is probably its infotainment system. So starting off with this infotainment system, I have to say it's quite good. So Rivian does all their software in-house, and As we've probably heard the recent news, there was a partnership with Volkswagen, and the new Gen 2 Rivian R1S and R1T have much better software than this 2024. A lot of the functionality through the screen is a lot smoother, and it has some additional features added in, but we'll just stick with the 2024 for now. So first off, even this is quite responsive if we're looking on the map. And the one really nice feature in the Rivian R1T is we have a really good route planner. So let's say we want to go to, I don't know, San Diego. So type in San Diego. And now within seconds, we got our full route to San Diego. We need to make 2 charging stops based on this route. And if we expand this, we can see exactly what time we need to get to the charging station at and how long to spend there. Rivian's route planner just calculates all of this for you. It's really, really simple to use, and you just simply type in your destination and you get the whole route ready for you. Next up is the vehicle drive mode menu. So you click here, and if you press 2 fingers, you can actually look around your car a little bit, and it has this really nice cell shaded look. It's a really unique look because a lot of cars don't really have this more playful vibe to it, but Rivian does it, and I think they've nailed it pretty well. We also have a bunch of different drive modes, so we can go into snow, all terrain, and we can easily change the ride height or the ride feel right from this screen. And what's really cool is if we even change the ride height, we can easily see exactly what our new ground clearance is. So if we're in low, we get 9.5. And then obviously if we go to high, we get 14.9. Everything has their own animations too. So if we click on ride feel, we get little animations for it. It's a very friendly and open UI experience. So some cars look a little more old school and aggressive. The text doesn't really feel friendly, etc. I mean, everything down to this text is just very, very user-centered. Next, we have our camera, and we actually have a 360 view right here. We can go from front view, rear view, to even bed view. And these cameras are not that high quality, so if you get a 2024, you're going to be running on the Gen 1 hardware, which uses like 1 megapixel cameras as opposed to 3.3 on the newer ones. And yeah, as you can see, it just does not look very high quality. Definitely not Tesla level, or even like the Audi e-tron, I feel, has better camera quality than this. So that's a little disappointing. And then through this option menu, we have a lot of other stuff. We have gear guard. This is Rivian's equivalent of Sentry mode. And in our camping menu, we actually have a cool function where the truck can auto level itself. So we can try that right now. And now the car will be doing some minor adjustments to the air suspension to get us at a level surface. Another cool little amenity is the ambient lighting. So if we press settings and go to ambient lighting, we can actually change our interior lighting to lots of themes. So we have desert snow, and we get a little bit of sound too. So now we have a canyon sound. I feel like I'm in a canyon right now. What's also pretty nice is the climate control menu. So here we can easily put on the heated mirrors, heated steering wheel, turn on pet mode. If you do have to leave your pet in the car for a short period of time, you can actually leave the AC on, and there will be a message on the center display letting other people know that your pet is okay. The AC vents are virtual here, so if we want to adjust the fan speed, we just simply have 2 air channels, and they will adjust so the air will go in the direction you desire. And finally, we have our charging menu right here, and this is really nice. So we can see a lot of information about our energy use, and we can adjust our charging limits. And what's really cool is when we are slow charging, so level 2 or level 1 charging, we can actually adjust the amperage. So if you don't want your car to charge as fast, then you can adjust that so your car will charge a little bit slower. And now it's time to chat about charging. So to open the charge port on the Rivian R1T, we actually press these 3 buttons right here, and the charge port comes to life. As standard, we get our AC port up here and our DC fast charging port right below. The Rivian R1T and R1S can do 11.5 kilowatts on AC, and this particular one, the standard pack, can do around 215 kilowatts on DC. And since more of this battery pack is locked off due to software, we can actually charge from 10 to 80% in around 35 to 40 minutes, which is pretty okay. It's definitely not as fast as, say, a Silverado EV. And this truck is also pretty efficient too. So in my driving, I've been getting around 2.9, 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, which is quite solid for a big pickup truck like this. In fact, This is similar efficiency I was getting in the Jaguar I-Pace. That's really crazy because this is obviously a massive truck with lots of frontal area that you're pushing air out of the way in. Rivians are also operating on 400 volt platforms, so these are not more advanced 800 volt EVs. So that's another reason why we aren't seeing really crazy charging times in the R1T pickup truck. But nevertheless, this should suffice for most people. And we also have access to Rivian Adventure Network chargers as well. And these are always really reliable and they tend to work pretty well. If you opt for a newer 2025, oh, I got scared. If you got a newer 2025 Rivian R1T, that truck will actually have an NACS connector on it. So you can actually charge them at superchargers natively. So no adapter or anything. You can charge these at superchargers, though you will need an adapter. But the newer Rivian R1Ts come with that NACS port right there. All right, now we are driving the Rivian R1T. Now, fun fact, the T stands for truck. Nobody saw that coming. So when you're driving this car, the first thing you'll notice is it does feel like a larger SUV when you're driving it on the road. Now, I wouldn't say this feels quite as floaty or truck-like as the Ford F-150 Lightning. However, if you're like turning at high speeds, you can definitely feel that you're driving a 7,000 pound mass on the road. Now, this truck rides on air, and that's really nice, so you can adjust the ride firmness pretty easily. So you just go into the center screen and you say, hey, I want it to feel moderate, soft, or more firm, and that's nice. That's a cool customization to have. So depending on where you're driving, you can have this car feel firmer or softer. That's nice, and you don't really get that in a lot of cars with non-adaptive dampers, but obviously having air suspension, you can do so much more customization. What's also pretty cool is that when you're driving down the highway, you're really only using the front electric motors. So you can actually move to this option menu in the screen where you can see where the power is going out and coming in, like when you're regenning. And when you're driving on the highway, it's mainly the front wheels. Some less sophisticated EVs out there, like the Jaguar I-Pace, will use that all-wheel drive system all the time. But when you're using two motors, you're obviously using more energy. And that's not even to mention the drag losses from having just a motor sitting there while it's turned on. So the Rivian R1T can actually decouple the rear motor. So then you're only driving on one motor when you need it. And then obviously if you accelerate, then it reactivates that clutch, and then you have the second motor to give you additional propulsion. In terms of the build quality and NVH, it's pretty solid in the Rivian R1T. Everything feels well put together. Now, I will say there is some wind noise, but I will say that should be expected on a vehicle that's shaped like a brick. There is a little bit of wind noise kind of near this left portion of the A-pillar. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I mean, it's fine. You definitely hear wind noise in other similarly sized and shaped vehicles. When you're on the highway, the air suspension lowers down a little bit, so you're a little more hunkered to the road, and that helps make this car feel a little bit more stable when you're cruising on the highway. Driving on the highway brings me to one point that I don't really like, and that is the accelerator response. So typically when you think of EVs, you think, oh, I push down on the accelerator and I get all the power instantly. Well, you don't really get that in the Rivian R1T. So even though this car makes over 500 horsepower and can accelerate from 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, right now, if I floor the accelerator, now, we don't get the power until a few milliseconds later. Now, I don't know how long this is, maybe it's like around a second, but that does kind of irritate me because you have all this power on tap, but the car just doesn't give it to you instantaneously. Now, there is no sport mode in this base model. I've driven quad motor Rivians with the sport mode, and the accelerator response is a lot better in there, but it's still not totally instantaneous. And you get in other cars like Cybertruck or Ford F-150 Lightning, and the second you press down on the accelerator in those cars, you just get a massive surge of torque and they feel so much quicker off the line. So even though this car is very similarly quick to both those vehicles, so Ford F-150 Lightning is in the low 4s, and Cybertruck is also in the mid 4s, so very similar acceleration, 0 to 60 times, that instantaneous pull you get on both those cars is much greater than in here, and that's a little sad. Now, Rivian claims this is to make it feel more comfortable for passengers when they're riding in the car. but I mean, at least just give us an option to get that quicker acceleration, maybe in some other sport mode or something locked away, because it would be nice to get that instantaneous acceleration. Now, for a good note on driving, we have a really, really good one-pedal driving system. So you can adjust this from low to high regen, but then this car will bring you to a complete stop very, very smoothly. So that's a way I like to evaluate a car. So how well does that one-pedal driving system work with small throttle inputs, like when you're driving at low speeds, coming to a complete stop, and how is that complete stop? Is it jerky? Is it lurchy? What does it feel like? And the Rivian R1T does a fantastic job of getting you down to that low speed stop very, very smoothly. Rivian software engineers know what they're doing. This is a very, very, very well calibrated system. And our final note on driving is the autonomous driving system. This is called Driver Plus, Rivian's Driver Plus system. And I gotta say, it works pretty well. If you get a new Gen 2 Rivian, you can actually take your hands off the wheel and it just makes sure you're looking forward. And as long as you do so, the car will continue driving itself on the highway. And it can actually do lane changes. So you put on your blinker and it makes automated lane changes. This on the Gen 1 version just centers yourself in the lane on the highway and keeps you a good distance from the car ahead of you. This system feels very similar to Tesla's autopilot because it does not have concurrent steering. So in a lot of other systems out there besides Tesla autopilot and FSD, you have what's called concurrent steering. So that means you can make slight steering adjustments to override the autonomous driving feature. So you'll be centered in your lane, you can make a slight adjustment, but then the system will still be activated. So maybe there's a truck in the lane next to you and you want to move over to the left a little bit, and then you can make that adjustment, then let go of the steering wheel, and then it brings you back in the lane. The Rivian does not have that. Now, Rivian is working on that for future software updates, but as for now, this does not offer concurrent steering. So you're basically locked into your lane like you are in Tesla autopilot. And one more note on autonomous driving in the Rivian R1T. So this car, one thing that I don't really like is that this Driver Plus feature will only work on highways. So I was driving on a country road yesterday with very apparent lane markings, and I was like, it was a straight road for maybe 3-5 miles. So I was like, well, I'll just put on the system, see how this works. And it would not activate. So you can only do adaptive cruise control, whereas most other cars on the market, like Hyundai Driver Assistant, Tesla Autopilot, I can give you a whole list of other cars out there, and all those will be able to center yourself in the lane regardless of if you're on a highway or a country road. So that's just one thing, and the Rivian only really works on highways to use Driver Assistant. But overall, I'm pretty impressed with the driving experience in this car. There's some things I wish it had that it's lacking a little bit, but overall, I'm quite impressed. This is a very nice, comfortable car to drive in, and for basically Rivian's early attempt at building a good car, they did a phenomenal job. And that's that. That's the Rivian R1T electric pickup truck. So now it comes time to the recommendation phase. Do I recommend the R1T pickup? So the short answer is yes, I do. And this truck is for a specific audience. So if you want more of a work truck, then definitely go get the F-150 Lightning. That's more of a traditional work truck that happens to be electric, but the Rivian R1T is more of an adventurous lifestyle vehicle. Now that sounds very corporate-y, but it's true. This thing has great ground clearance. You can take it through up to 3 feet of water, and there's plenty of storage throughout this truck. It's fair to say that Rivian really thought about this product before releasing it to market. There's so many really cool features on this truck. The software is really solid, and just overall the package is really refined. Especially from a startup, this truck is really surprising. The build quality is great, and quite frankly, this truck has just really impressed me. Every now and then I drive a car and then I get out and I say, yeah, that was a really, really cool vehicle. And the Rivian R1T is one of those. Now, still the prices are a little high, but if you're looking for a premium high-end electric pickup truck, this is it. And I think there's a reason why values are still so high in the used market. And it's just because this truck is a fundamentally good product. Thanks for watching.